They normally don't have brain cells. Who has a screwdriver that big? Actually, though. Bro's got like a 3-foot long screwdriver. If this game's making you sad, play like an absolute idiot in this thing and get away with it. I don't think I've come across the tank I haven't been able to kill with the standard ammunition. A super Pershing? Wow. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. German 5.7 is just the best the game has to offer. Hello there, I'm Chicken Farmer. Welcome to my channel. Today's video will be about the Tiger E. Now, if you've watched some of my videos before, you may have heard me say that German 5.7 is the best the game has to offer, and I firmly believe that statement. And the Tiger E is one of the big reasons that I believe that to be true. The Tiger E is the absolute full package. It does everything, and it does everything amazingly. It is one of the most forgiving tanks in the game, and it is also one of the most potent tanks in the game. This thing has an extremely low skill floor and an extremely high skill ceiling. Anybody with even the slightest understanding of how armor works in this game can make this thing into a monster. Now, I'm not saying it is the best tank in the game, because I feel like that's reserved for many other vehicles. This thing, I just feel like, is the most well-rounded package. It's also complemented by many tanks around its own battle rating that make for a extremely fun yet very, very strong 5.7 loadout. When it comes to the Tiger E, let's start with its gun. It has an extremely punchy 88mm that has its best ammunition as standard. It also has access to APCR, which can be used against some of those harder targets that you can't really get through. I almost exclusively run the stock ammunition on the Tiger E. Something to mention before we get into the characteristics of the Tiger E is, yes, there is another version of the Tiger in the tech tree, which is the Tiger H1, which you will be researching before you can actually access the Tiger E. The Tiger H1 is almost as potent as the Tiger E, although there are a few changes that were made to the Tiger between the H1 and the Tiger E, which is why the E version is at a 5.7 battle rating and the H1 is at a 5.3. So the Tiger E has a little bit stronger of a roof, has a much smaller cupola, has a stronger engine, and has better optics. It also has Zimrit painting on it, which really doesn't do anything at all in this game, except add, I believe, 1 or 2 millimeters of armor, which obviously doesn't really do all that much. But those are the main differences between the Tiger H1 and the Tiger E. Now, when it comes to armor, the Tiger is obviously no slouch, although its biggest weakness is its own armor. Now, what I mean by that is its armor is extremely flat. And if you know anything about ballistics, you know that armor angling has a lot to do with the effective value of that armor. So the Tiger being super flat makes its effective value very, very low. Even though it's quite thick armor in the first place, it just lacks effective value. If we use the classic saying of angle your Tiger, you can turn it from absolute butter for most vehicles to a tough nut to crack. Now, I'm not saying if you angle that it will be invincible, because it's not. There are many vehicles that can punch straight through an angled Tiger, which you'll see many of those on the battlefield. And yes, it's a little annoying, but the large majority of vehicles are probably going to have quite a tough time, especially at distance, if you angle your Tiger correctly. I'll be demonstrating a very good rule of thumb when it comes to angling your armor while you're engaging a target. You can see right now I have my barrel over top of the end of my track. As long as you keep your barrel at the tip of your track like I have it now, and you can see I'll wiggle it back and forth at the end of the track, as long as you keep your gun in that lighter area, that's generally the best angle that you can get. Now, some people like a little more angling, some people like a little less, but a general good rule of thumb, especially for new players, is just keep your gun atop of that lighter tip of the track. And that goes for both sides of the vehicle. As long as you keep your target within your sights and you keep your gun at about this angle, you should be able to ricochet a good few shells. Most Tiger players will be skilled enough to know how much ammo they need to carry. Although most times you'll come across these players, they will have an ammo rack on the driver's side of their tank along the side. So if you're ever engaging a Tiger head on, your best bet is to shoot to the right of the driver's port. Now, that's not the only good place to shoot a Tiger. You could obviously shoot at center mass, and most ammunitions that can penetrate straight through will be able to knock out the entire turret crew if you hit it perfectly in the center. I would advise against shooting anywhere to the left of the machine gun port, as the only critical things you may hit there is ammunition if they are carrying too much. A good rule of thumb when engaging a Tiger from the front on is to shoot to the left or to the right of the driver's viewport. Now, unless you have a gun with very, very high penetration, it's best to not try and shoot it in the turret cheeks. Although there are some weaker spots on the turret cheeks, I try to avoid it at all costs just because of the weird angling and random thicknesses on the front of the cheeks. Now on the Tiger E, the commander's cupola is much smaller and it is rounded, whereas on the Tiger H1 it is a massive flat weak spot. So if you ever come across a Tiger H1, note that if you do have filler in your ammunition, a decent place to shoot it is in the commander's cupola. Although on the Tiger E, that's not really recommended, as it is a very small target to hit and it's also quite angled. Speed and mobility are no problem for the Tech Tree Tigers. They both have a top speed of 45 kilometers an hour and have strong hull rotation speeds to go with that. The Tiger E can be used in many different roles, ranging from a brawler to a sniper and everything in between. Pretty much anything that you want to do with this thing, it can probably do it. That's what makes this beauty such a fun tank to play. I think that's enough rambling about this thing. Time to get into some gameplay. But first, please consider liking and subscribing. It truly helps out a lot on this journey to making this dream into reality. Alright, time for that gameplay. Something to note is I personally enjoy bringing 29 shells. I believe that that is optimum for the way that I play this thing. It removes all but one of the side mounted ammo racks. It does leave that one in the front left, though I really don't care, to be completely honest with you. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. I want to get this guy out of the bushes first. Okay. Yeah, the standard ammo on this thing is wonderful. There is another armor-piercing cap ballistic cap shell, although I personally believe that the first one is better just because it has more filler. It has a little less pen, but it has a good bit more filler, and I think that's a worthwhile trade. Yeah, you can play like an absolute idiot in this thing and get away with it. It's pretty much like a Russian MBT, but at a lower battle rating, and it's more fun, to be honest. Get the gun up. There we go. This thing eats Hellcats for dinner. Something else to note between the differences between the Tiger H and the Tiger H1 and the Tiger E is the smoke grenade launcher is completely different, and the Tiger E has one grenade at a time. It fires like one little. Actually, I'll just use it right now. Fires one at a time, whereas the Tiger H1 fires, I forget exactly how many, I believe it's 2 to 4, I don't really remember, but it fires them like in an arc in front of you, which I personally prefer the arc of smoke grenades rather than just one at a time, but that's just personal preference. That is one reason I do like the H1 a little bit more than the E, but overall the E is just better, mainly because of the cupola, in my opinion. Yeah, like I said earlier in the video, armor angling is one of the most crucial mistakes that I feel more than 50% of players in Tigers tend to make, is just angling your armor. It's so important, and so many people forget, and even I forget it. It's just trying to train yourself to remember to angle your armor every time you see an enemy, every time you engage someone. It's honestly hard for me to learn for some reason, but you know what? We can all improve in some ways, so that's just the way I can improve right now. I think the main reason I didn't make a Tiger video is because I didn't want to perpetuate the toxic, the normally toxic players that play 5.7 German. Is just, they're not the nicest players. They're not really that respectable, to be honest. They like, look at my team rushing into their spawn. Like, they normally don't have brain cells usually. That's what I do, shit on German mains a lot. although I myself enjoy this battle rating of Germany, it's just I don't know. I feel like a lot of people that play these things are just very disrespectful players, and I hate that. Not sure why we just had someone die in our spawn to an ISU 122. Oh, speaking of 122s, someone in my comments, my M51 video, told me about it was like OS 122 or something like that. And that thing is crazy. The Russians literally took a Sherman, like a M4A3 hull, and slapped a 122 on it. Like, I guess it's like the original version of whatever they had on the IS-2s, whatever the gun that they used on those things, on a Sherman. It, like, the turret almost looks like a Tiger 2, like at least the picture I saw of it. That I really hope they add that to the game. That thing would be crazy. Yeah, thank you to whoever that was that brought that up, because I never even knew that tank even like existed. That was just cool. I love unique tanks like that. I just love learning about them. The Tiger 1 may struggle a little bit in a max up tier with penetration. That's just something to note. Although, I don't think I've come across the tank I haven't been able to kill with the standard ammunition. Oh, I aimed way too high. Didn't think he would have enough to get through my armor. Yep. I need to do a video on the M6. I need to play it more, though. Oh, I tried turning around in the middle of the open. What am I thinking? I have to reverse, man. That was entirely my stupidity. See, he shot me right in the center mass, and because he had filler, it was an easy kill. If you have a good amount of filler, like the M18 has, it turns Tigers into mush if you hit them center mass, especially if they're not angling like I was. Yeah, I truly feel like if you don't have a German 5.7 loadout, go get it like ASAP. It will cure your depression if this game's making you sad. This loadout will make you enjoy the game for whatever reason. It's just, I don't know. This is the one loadout this is my go-to loadout, honestly. If I'm having a bad time on the game, I break this loadout out, stomp a few lobbies, and that's about it. I mean, I don't stomp lobbies. I get stomped more like it, but every once in a while I'll have a good game where I kind of go crazy, but I'm not that good. I'm not that good. A super Pershing? Wow. I forgot that I could even see a super Pershing. Glad he was facing a completely different direction. If he was facing head on, I would have had some... okay, I take it back. Like I said at the beginning of this match, I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen a tank I've never been able to penetrate with standard shells. That's one that I would have a lot of trouble penning with standard shells from the front. I would definitely be loading APCR for that. Huh, I wonder where I heard that engine sound from. Yeah, usually the German teams are the ones getting absolutely just demolished. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Pro tip, aim for the knobs above where the crew members are sitting on that thing. Like I just did. Something for whatever reason bothers me is the giant screws on the engine deck. Like, are they actually screws or what are they? Like, look at them. Like, they're massive. Why? Who has a screwdriver that big? Actually, though. Bro's got like a 3-foot long screwdriver. Only problem is going to be this beam right here in front of me. It's going to slow me down a lot. Oh, no. Beam did stop me. Okay. That works for me. Can I not get through this beam? I suppose not. Can I shoot it? Oh, I thought I could break it. My bad. Also, just like the Magatch I recorded earlier, 8 kilometers an hour reverse gear. Oop. Don't you go. Ah. I should have twisted and shot him there. That was my bad. I thought I was still on reload for whatever reason. Yes, I know I don't have myself angled all that much. I don't really care if it's an M51 about angling, because I think could just ignore the angle that I angle it. Oh, wow. I love the way American turrets are sometimes. Okay, snuck that one in there. Oh, that was scary. I can't even lie. PT-76s are weird. I don't know. I get why people use them. I like it, but it's just... I feel so weak when I play it. It's also got the worst heat FS I've ever seen in my life. Comparable to that of the T92, but the T92 actually kind of does something, whereas PT-76 has, like, no post-effects damage. Well, it would be me. And these Shermans are just wanting me to kill them at this point. Oh, that's an assault Sherman. Damn, getting close. I'm honing in that weak spot. Please tell me that bomb will kill me. Why me? Why am I the choice when it comes to bombs, man? Oh, it's literally me. Like, you literally just saw I got chosen to get bombed twice. Like, look at all these vehicles that they could have possibly bombed, but they chose me. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm recording a Tiger E video. Alright, so the Tiger E. It's a great vehicle. German 5.7 is just the best the game has to offer. I don't think that there is another loadout that has as much potential and is as forgiving as German 5.7. The same could be argued for German 5.3. I just prefer 5.7 because I can bring out a Sturm Tiger, because who doesn't enjoy a little bit of Sturm Tiger play? But yeah, the Tiger E, just the biggest advice I can really give for this vehicle is just remember to angle your arm. Remember to use the lighter tip of your track as a guide on how much to angle. And also, if you're fighting this thing and you're fighting it head on, shoot to the left or the right of the driver's viewport. That's it, and that goes for both Tigers. They don't go for all of the Tigers because obviously Tiger 2s are completely different, and the Tiger Porsche is not meant to be angled at all, which that's a completely different video in and of itself, although I don't own the vehicle. So eventually I'll make a video on that, but that'll be way down the line. But for now, the Tiger E is one of the best vehicles in the game. If you are new to the game or you have not grinded to the German 5.7 loadout, go do it right now. It will be well worth your time. You will genuinely enjoy it. It is a actually fun grind too. All the vehicles leading up to this point are also very forgiving and very fun to use. So yeah, that's the video. If you've enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and yeah, have a chill day.